Trapped in the system, how Nigeria's police wrongfully jailed an innocent man for 10 years. A heartbreaking exposé on false imprisonment and a man's fight for freedom. He was 23 when they took him. He had dreams, a family, a future. But one night changed everything. Accused of a crime he never committed, David Adisa was thrown behind bars, lost in Nigeria's broken justice system. For 10 years, no one listened. No one cared. Until now. The arrest, guilty until proven innocent. November 12, 2013. Lagos, Nigeria. It started like any other night. David Adisa, a university student, was walking home from a friend's house. He never saw them coming. Out of nowhere, armed officers surrounded him. "Where's the money?" they shouted. "Confess or we'll make you disappear." But David had no idea what they were talking about. He was dragged to a police station, beaten until he could barely stand. His crime? Being at the wrong place at the wrong time. A robbery had taken place nearby, and the police needed a scapegoat. The broken system, no lawyer, no trial, no hope. In Nigeria, justice isn't for the poor. David's family couldn't afford a lawyer, and the police refused to release him. Days turned into weeks. Weeks into months. No trial. No evidence. Just a signed paper that declared him guilty. A newspaper headline reads, "Young man jailed for armed robbery, no evidence presented." For 4 years, David rotted in a cell no bigger than a closet, surviving on a plate of watery beans once a day. His mother sold everything she owned, begging for justice. But in a system built on bribes, her voice was just another whisper in the wind. The fight for freedom, one chance, one shot. Then in 2022, a human rights lawyer, Adekunle Ibe, heard David's story. Furious at the injustice, he took on the case pro bono. What he discovered was shocking. A government document with case file missing, stamped in red. David's case file had vanished. There was no record of his conviction. He had been jailed illegally for nearly a decade. In Nigeria, 70% of prisoners are awaiting trial. Some have been locked up for 20 years without a single court hearing. David was just one of many. The final verdict, will justice prevail? February 15, 2023. The day of reckoning. David stood before the judge, now 33 years old, a decade stolen from him. The prosecution had nothing. No evidence. No witnesses. Nothing. The judge had no choice but to set him free. A prison gate opens. A man steps out, shielding his eyes from the sunlight. But what happens after freedom? David had no job, no money, and no home. His fight for survival had just begun. The bigger picture, how many more like David? David's story is just one of thousands. The Nigerian prison system is filled with men and women like him, forgotten, trapped, and abandoned. False imprisonment is not just a Nigerian problem, it's a global crisis. From America to Africa, the poor and innocent are locked away while the real criminals walk free. So what can you do? Comment below. Should the police officers responsible be punished? Share this video. The more people know, the harder it is to ignore. Subscribe for more eye-opening stories about injustice, corruption, and the fight for freedom. Justice isn't given. It's fought for. And the fight has just begun.